Hello guys, so this is the first video I've done in probably 3 weeks. The reason why is because I've been waiting for stuff to get done, so I'll show you what I've got back now. That's just me Cornish pasty from Morrison's, beautiful. So I've now had all the pistons all soda blasted, so what I shall do now, obviously they need a clean, a wash to get all the soda blasting out, but that's all done for the pistons. Same with the rocker cover, and hopefully the cam carriers, which is good. Let me just put that down somewhere. Right. And now the cylinder head. So let's get this out. Cool. Let's get a look at all these parts. Oh, look at that, lovely and clean in there. And then so sorted, lovely. So I need to give this a wash, and then once I've given it a wash, thoroughly dry it. What I'll do after I've dried it, I'll put all the valve seals on, and then we can start rebuilding the head up, which is good. I do have some piston rings on order, so as soon as they come from Yamaha, I shall be getting them on. So let's just gently place this on here. And there's something kicking off because I can hear a police helicopter, and I've just heard a load of police sirens. So anyway, sorted. It's over there somewhere. Right, anyway, so what I need to do is obviously paint these, but I'm not going to paint them in that hand paint that I painted the engine in, because it just looks shit. I think I've got a can of silver spray somewhere, so I'll use that and just paint that. In fact, I'll wash them off and do that and paint them then. So yeah, hopefully guys, let me just get these pistons. Oh, you can see, did you see it then fall out? Look, the soda. Cool. I'm dead excited to start rebuilding this. Can't wait. Right, I'll give it a wash. Fucking police helicopter, man. They're not half loud. Anyway, I think the battery's going to go soon, so I shall get these washed now. Right, so I've had the power washer out, and I've given these a quick wash, just purely to remove all the old soda that may have been lingering in the corners and stuff. Pistons have come beautiful. They're like brand new, them, aren't they? Superb. So I need to measure them. There's a few little odd marks there, look, can you see that there in the corner, but I'm not even worried about that, to be honest with you. So what I'll do now is I'll measure these and hopefully sort them. The only thing I'm going to do is down here where the spark plugs go, because I think Phil must have struggled to get his soda blaster pointer thing down there. I'm going to see if I can get one of these down and then re-wash it. So if I can get that down, go up it and down it a few times, then I'll just give it another blast, and then hopefully that might do. So now this is a little bit bigger, so I'm hoping I'm going to be able to squash it in and just, I think, see if I can get it in anyway and do that. So I'll do that first. Now as you can see, I've got it down, but it's spewed out a load of shit. So I need to get the power washer in there and just give it another blast. And I think I need to just wash these again because all the dust from that sprayed onto all them. So I'll give them all a wash again, and then but it's I must admit it looks a lot better than it was anyway. So I'll give them a wash and then we'll call it a do at that. Right, that's washed for a second time, but yeah, I'm well happy with that. There's a few little stains, like you can just see a stain in there, look, but I'm not bothered about that, to be honest with you. Overall it's clean. The exhaust ports were filthy, so I'm glad about that. Inside the spark plug holes, number 3 and 4 are okay, number 1 and 2 are a bit mucky still, but it's okay. And then obviously the inlet ports, cool. So what I'll do now is, it's quite warm out here, so I'm just going to leave that to sit for a minute, and I'll get a rag and I'll just wipe them down, and then I don't think I'm going to bother painting them, to be honest with you, or shall I? I don't know, because I don't know if I've got enough painting with spray can, and it means masking it all up to do it, doesn't it? So I might just what I might do is I might just build it back up so that the valves are in the two halves are together, and then paint it as a whole job lot rather than two halves, because it means double the masking, doesn't it? So, but anyway, right, and the rocker covers over on the tree hanging there, getting dry. I'm definitely going to paint the rocker cover because that's well mucky. Well, it's not mucky, but it's pitted. So I'll definitely do that. I think I've got some red or something. No, I might even do it that greeny colour. Anyway, I'm going to dry these off and I'll go back to the shed, and then we can start thinking about putting it back together. Right, I've had this sunbathing for a good half an hour now. It's bone dry as that. I've painted the rocker cover while I was waiting. It's not brilliant, but it's better than no, and I've run out of that green paint now anyway, so at least, oh look at that, I noticed that as well. So if it starts leaking, that's why, so I'll have to keep an eye on that, but I'm hoping the gasket will take care of that. But now it's lovely and bone dry, so I can get it back in the shed and we can start rebuilding it. Right, so when I opened up the bag of stuff where all the valve seals were, they fucking went all over the place. So I had to pick them up and wash them, and then I just thought I'll put them in a bag of oil just to sort of like lubricate them a bit. So the first job now is to get these out and put the valve seals on, and then rather than try to put them on with the top half of this fucking the camshaft housing, I might as well put them on now and then they're done, aren't they? So I'll do that and I'll get back to you. Right, so I've now got the valve guides in, the valve seals, sorry, and this is the gasket, and then obviously you can see where it says up there. So that's that, everything lines up. So what I need to do now is dig out the two little dowels for there, and then I need to put these, I need to get the new O-rings for that, bang them on, and then there's two bowls, one for there, and the other bowl with a little washer on goes there. So I'll do that. I'll get the O-rings put on there, bolt them down, push them in, bolt them down, put that on, and then we're I think ready to put this back on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back on and then just do the valves one by one, because then this will be complete then. What I was going to do originally was put the inlet valves in and then slide this on, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, because I've got the cylinder head bolts on, I don't want to lose what you see, so the cylinder head bolts, they're all in place with the washer. Oh, bollocks. Hang on. So the washer there, look. Oh shit, I'm going to have to clean that now. And I've put a bit of grease on. Right, so let me do that and I'll come back to you when this is done. Right, so these are the old seals that go on there. Those are the new ones. I've put the dowels in, but as you can see, I've had to just sort of like stretch this metal gasket a little bit, and you can see it's a bit kinked. But once this top's on, it should flatten that down then, hopefully. Now you'll notice on these things, on one end, it's bigger or longer than the other end. Okay. So looking at this, see the big square blob there, then the longer end of that goes on this side. So if I show you that, this is without the seals on, you can see that that's flush and that's flush, whereas oops, so now what I'll do is I'll purposely try and put the longer one in there, and you'll see that it just won't go on. So just bear that in mind. So that'll go on there, and that one will go on there. So what I'll do now is I'll put the new O-rings on and bolt it down. All them are torqued down now. So them two bolts, that one there torqued down, 10 Newton meters. So now everything's ready to put on. So I've got the cylinder head bolts in with the washers. I've got the valve seals on, oil pipe on with new O-rings. The old ones are there, screwed up in that. I'm keeping the old gaskets and I'm going to bin them at the end. So the bolts here. So now I'll put this back on there and torque it down. Right, that's all torqued down. Cool. So can you see what I mean now about the valve guides? Bloody hell, the valve seals. Trying to put them on, it'd be fucking impossible to stick them on down there. So that's why I've put them on before, obviously separating before putting this back together. So there's now a brand new gasket on there. You can just about see it under there. So that's the brand new gasket on, all torqued down. Let me just turn that around. So I suppose what I could do now, if I was going to paint it, I could sort of like do it now, couldn't I? But to be honest with you, I don't know whether to or not. I should do really, shouldn't I? I might. Shall I do it in this fucking shit here? And then it's all the same? I've no idea. But let me just get the rocker cover a minute, because that's still outside in the sun. Oh, that's nice and warm. And then we'll see what it's like on. So that's what the cylinder head's going to look like when it's on, hopefully, and finished. So I might just I really should have painted this before putting them together, but right, I'll have a think about if I'm going to paint it or not. So I decided to give it a quick light spray of that. You can tell how long I've had it. Look, £4.70 for a massive tin like that. It'd be double that now. So this is just a quick blast over, just to try and make it a little bit more presentable. Because although it was clean, there was still some stains on. But at least now it looks a little bit better. Oops. So I haven't bothered masking that up, to be honest with you, because because now that'll get burnt off in 2 seconds. So yeah, a little bit better. Well, there's just a tiny bit in there that I've missed, so I just need to do that. So I'm just going to give it another quick light coat of paint, leave it out in the sun for 10 minutes, and then we're done. Right, that's all dry. What I've done for now is I've just squirted a bit of oil, some of this molly oil, down the oil holes for the cams. That's just run down there, and I've squirted some down there as well, look, just to get a bit of oil in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these are all the exhaust valves, so they're all numbered. Obviously I numbered them as they were sat on the machine, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to start putting these in, but what I'll do first of all, and you can tell these are the exhaust, you probably can't see that, but it says 4SV on the exhaust, and the inlet ones say 3GM, and obviously apart from the sizes as well. So what I'll do is, for each one I do, I shall get the valve in the pillar drill, and I'll get some wire wool or something. I've got some somewhere, and I'll just put it on, and I'll just roll the wire wool just to give it a quick clean there. And then what I'll do then is, I think I've got some grinding paste somewhere. I should have really ground these actually before I even, do you know what I mean, before I clean the head, but it meant grinding them, putting them back in these bags, and then cleaning it and so forth. So what I'll do is I'll just lap these in as I'm building it, and then to be honest with you, I'll just make sure that it's clean. I have got some grinding paste somewhere, I think. If I haven't, then the job's going to stop and I'll have to get some. I'm only going to do some fine ones. So yeah, so that's it. I think I'll call it a do today, to be honest with you, because, well, I'm still going to do a bit of work, but I'm not going to film anymore. I need to clean all these. I'm gonna get one of these tubs here, and I'll just put each valve in there with a bit of, I think I've got some acetone somewhere, with a bit of acetone just to clean them. And then what I'll do then is, just before I fit it, like I say, I'll lap the valve and then fit it properly then. So the next video will I'll probably have all the valves in the exhaust, and I'll probably have maybe just all the inlet ones until the last one, and then I'll start filming again and do it that way, I think. And then once that's done, then hopefully the cylinder head can be put to one side then. Well, actually, then the cams can go in, can't they? But I'm going to put the cams in after it's on there, because if I put the cams in now, some of the valves will open. I don't want to knacker the valves up while it's being held around. So yeah, so while I'm doing this, hopefully the piston rings will come, and then what I can do then is I can get these piston rings on, the pistons, but when the rings come we'll sort that out, because I think the rings will need gapping up, obviously, in there. So yeah, so that's it for today, guys, I'm afraid. So we're back on. So yep, I'll see you soon. Oh, by the way, yeah, Neil, sorry mate, not being able to go on a bike ride with you, but as you can see, I've been waiting for fucking ages to do this, and I need to get this done, and once this is done, I can be back down at unit then, fucking putting this in a frame and seeing if it'll start. Right, see you soon. Right, I know I said I was going, but I really am going to do after this. So I figured that I'd show you. This is number 1 exhaust valve. I've got my paste, and I found my little fucking lapping tool as well. So these are the components. So I've got the collets there, the shim there. That's for the top of the spring. That's the bucket. That's for the bottom of the spring. That's the valve, and that's the old knackered valve seal. So that goes in the bin. I just want to show you this valve. So this is why I'm going to get them in the drill, because I'm going to wire wool all that and get all that shit off there, clean it up. As you can see, this is an exhaust valve. It says 4SV on it. So I'll do that. Now the only problem is, so this is the bottom of the valve spring, and that fits in there. So I'm hoping I can just drop it in, and it'll sit down. So I don't know how to do that yet. I need a tiny magnet or something, don't I? So I can just lower it down and then lever it off. I didn't want to put them things, the bottom of the springs, I didn't want to put them in before I put this on, because they'd have all fucking fallen out when I turn it upside down. Unless I could have put a dabble of grease on and squashed it in or something. I don't know. But anyway, we'll try. So what I'll do is I'll try and give it a go and just see if I can just drop it on, and then we'll see how it goes. Failing that, I need to get a little magnet just to lower it down and then sort of like prise it off. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, and I'll be doing that for all the 20 valves. Right, I need to show you this. I had the valve in the drill and I was doing it with the Brillo pad and it fucking wrapped around and nearly had my hand off. So I need to come up with another way to do that. Fucking hell, I've got all the wire wrapped around that now. So I need to come up with another way. I think I need to lower the speed actually, because it was a bit too fast with that, I think. And that doesn't sound right good, does it? Right, I need to come up with another way of doing that. I might do it on my grounder. Right, anyway, let's see. Right, so what I've done is I've bolted my angle grinder to that with that wire wheel and clean that up that way. Now the thing is, it's okay, but I've got to wear these thick gloves, and it's a bit hard trying to hold a tiny valve next to that while you're wearing big thick gloves. So, but anyway, at least that's sort of like done it, hasn't it? So what I'll do now is I'll have a go lapping this valve in to number 1, and then we'll see if we can get it sorted. Right, so that's I don't know if you can see that or not. It's not bad, I suppose. It's better than... And there's a nice little shiny ring, oops, sorry. A nice little shiny ring there, that one. So what I'm going to do is fit this valve. Right, so I've now got number 1 exhaust valve in, so that's in nice. So let me just turn this over. This cylinder head's going to be filthy by the time I've finished it, because I keep wiping my bloody hands. So anyway, that's in now, which is good. And what I've done is, I've forgotten how fiddly these bloody little collets are. So what I do then, once it's in, and I've released the tension on the valve spring to make sure the collets are seated, I've got this old ratchet, and that rubber end just fits in there nice, just perfect. So all I do is put it on and just give it a gentle tap a couple of times, and then to get the actual collets in, this is like a crocheting needle type thing. All I do is put a bit of grease on it and sort of like shove it in and move it around until it's in. So what I'll do now is the bucket and the shim for number 1 I'm going to re-put in the bag, because obviously if I put the bucket on with the shim and keep turning it upside down, they're going to fall off. So I'll put that back in the bag until I'm ready to fit the cams, then I'll put the buckets and the shims on. Right, I had a right trouble getting number 2 valve in, because the this washer thing that sits on the very bottom there, and then the spring fits on top of it, it wouldn't go over the actual seal, and when I pulled it back up, it pulled the seal off at the same time, and it was wedged in it. So I had to remove them two, separate them two, drop the washer in and then put the seal back in. And to get the seal back in, all I did was I just used a number 8mm socket and then sort of like guided the seal on and then just pushed it on with that. And then I was able to get the valve in. So I don't know if that was just a one-off, but if it happens again, then I'll tell you. And I think the best thing to do would be to put the washers on before we put the valve seals in. Anyway, and the other thing was my bloody angle grinder, the body, when I was using it, started wobbling like fuck. So I've had that in bits underneath, and there's two bolts that hold the body thing onto this base. One of them had come loose, so I've had to do that as well. Anyway, I've got to call it a day now because, and this is for serious, because I'm off to pick my mum up now because it's tea time. So I shall carry on Monday night after work. So I'll see you then, guys.